Imagine this. A young man walks into a store planning to buy a simple bottle of water. 20 minutes later, he leaves with snacks, a premium drink, and products he never intended to buy. What happened? Was he weak? Bad at decision-making? Not at all. His brain was simply following a psychological pattern that affects nearly every human being on Earth. And the shocking part, most people never realize it's happening. Today, we're diving into one of the most powerful psychological principles ever discovered. An invisible force that influences what we buy, who we trust, how we vote, and even who we fall in love with. By the end of this video, you'll start noticing this hidden force everywhere. And once you see it, you can never unsee it. Let's begin. In 1951, a psychologist named Solomon Asch conducted an experiment that shocked the scientific world. The setup seemed simple. A group of people sat in a room. They were shown a card with a line on it. Then they were shown 3 more lines labeled A, B, and C. Their task: identify which line matched the original. The answer was obvious, so obvious that a child could get it right. But there was a catch. Everyone in the room except one person was secretly working with the researchers. When the experiment began, the actors intentionally gave the wrong answer. One after another. Person after person. They all confidently chose the wrong line. Then it was the real participants' turn. What do you think happened? Would they trust their own eyes? Or would they follow the crowd? Amazingly, many participants ignored what they clearly saw and agreed with the group, even when the group was obviously wrong. Think about that for a moment. Their own eyes told them one thing. The crowd told them another. And the crowd won. Why? Because human beings have a deep psychological need to belong. Thousands of years ago, being rejected by your tribe could mean death. Survival depended on fitting in. So our brains evolved to value social acceptance. Even today, that ancient survival system still lives inside us. And it influences far more than we realize. Let's leave the laboratory and enter the real world. Imagine you're searching for a restaurant. You see 2 options. The first has 5 reviews. The second has 10,000 reviews. Which one would you choose? Most people choose the second, not because they know the food is better, but because thousands of people seem to agree. Psychologists call this social proof. When we are uncertain, we look at others for guidance. This shortcut usually helps us. After all, if thousands of people recommend something, there's a good chance it's worth considering. But social proof can also be manipulated. Ever noticed how TV shows use laughter tracks? The audience hears people laughing. Suddenly, jokes seem funnier. The laughter signals that everyone else finds it amusing. So your brain follows along. Social media works the same way. A post with 500,000 likes instantly appears more trustworthy than one with 20 likes. The information may be identical, yet our perception changes dramatically. The crowd becomes evidence. And that's where things become dangerous. Because crowds can be wrong. Very wrong. History proves this again and again. Entire societies have followed harmful ideas simply because everyone else believed them. The lesson: popularity is not proof, but our brains often treat it as if it is. There's an old story called The Emperor's New Clothes. An emperor becomes obsessed with fashion. 2 clever scammers arrive and claim they can create magical clothes. These clothes, they say, are invisible to foolish people. Only intelligent people can see them. The emperor loves the idea. He pays them a fortune, The scammers pretend to work. Days pass. Weeks pass. Finally, they present the clothes. Of course, there are no clothes. The emperor is completely naked, but nobody wants to admit it. The ministers pretend they can see the outfit. The servants pretend. The townspeople pretend. Why? Because no one wants to appear foolish. So everyone joins the illusion. Then a child speaks up. Why is the emperor naked? Suddenly the spell breaks. Everyone realizes the truth. The story is centuries old, yet it perfectly describes human psychology. People often remain silent because they fear standing alone. Sometimes the hardest thing in the world is not finding the truth. It's saying the truth when everyone else disagrees. Now, let's talk about modern marketing. Imagine you're shopping online. You see a message. Only 3 items left. Another message appears. 5,000 people purchased this product this week. Then another. Trending now. What is happening? Companies are triggering powerful psychological shortcuts. Scarcity creates urgency. Popularity creates trust. Together, they push people toward a decision. And often, it works. Some businesses spend millions studying human behavior. Not because they want to understand you, because they want to influence you. Every color, every button, every notification, every countdown timer is carefully designed. This doesn't mean all marketing is evil, but it does mean awareness is power. The moment you recognize the influence, it loses some of its control. You stop reacting automatically. You start thinking consciously. And that changes everything. Here's the truth. Following the crowd is not always bad. Sometimes the crowd is right. Sometimes collective wisdom helps us make better decisions. The problem occurs when we stop thinking for ourselves, when we outsource our judgment, when we assume popularity equals truth. The strongest minds are not those who reject every opinion. They're the ones who pause, question, reflect, and then decide. Independent thinking doesn't mean being stubborn. It means being aware. Awareness is freedom. The moment you become conscious of psychological influence, you gain the ability to choose. And choice is one of the greatest powers a human being possesses. So the next time you see a viral trend, a product everyone is buying, an opinion everyone seems to share, ask yourself one question. Do I believe this because it's true, or because everyone else believes it? That simple question can change the way you think forever. If you enjoyed this journey into human psychology, make sure to subscribe because we explore the hidden forces that shape human behavior, history, success, and decision-making. And remember, the crowd may influence your choices, but your mind belongs to you. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.